There we go. I can fix that next time. It happens very quickly. Okay. Okay, well, we've got one person online.
Hello.
So can start talking.
Hello. Sorry, apologies if you're watching this. I'm talking very quietly because I do have neighbours here on either side, and where we are, I don't know where you are, but where we are, it's 3:30 in the morning, and I'd rather not wake anybody. So this is a reduced volume live stream, but we're still here. We're still awake, more or less. We are still going with our Universal Monster Marathon for charity. Now watched 13 films. We have 3 left to go and another 5.5 hours. But yeah, I think it's been going pretty well so far. I reckon. I noticed that the number of tweets we're sending are sort of like dropping with each film as we're sort of struggling for things to say or to focus. Or taking regular coffee breaks.
I think the sort of the enthusiasm for it dips as you're going on.
Yeah. It is getting a little harder. But we are pushing through. I'm sort of sorry that the films I've seen least often are the ones we're watching last. It would be better the other way around because, the ones you've seen least often, you probably have less to say about anyway. And I think it would be easier to sort of do those ones on autopilot. What have we got up next? Son of Dracula is next.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Phantom of the Opera is next. I should correct that on Twitter.
Start to notice a lot of repeated themes going on in these films. A lot of scientists who are too focused in their work to deal with their relationships, and lots of organ and piano playing. I think that gets even more so as you go along.
Obviously, if we're doing Phantom of the Opera next, then that's going to peak.
And that's peak organ playing. Yes. Don't know what else to say at the moment. If you've got any questions, guys, just put it into the comments, or we'll answer it.
We'll do our best.
What film have you enjoyed the most so far out of this marathon?
Probably still Bride of Frankenstein, but the old Dark House. It was good to see that again. That's such just an enjoyable film. The Wolfman was also a good change of pace. I think that's an underrated one in some ways because it's coming sort of last. I would say I think it's probably the best Universal horror film of that era of the 1940s.
Claude Rains or Vincent Price, which is the best Invisible Man?
Claude Rains. Nothing against Vincent Price, but Claude Rains is in the better film, and while Vincent Price has a great voice, Claude Rains really captures that sort of threat.
They're sort of both actors who've got really unique voices, although Vincent Price in Invisible Man Returns, his voice hasn't quite matured to the one we come to know.
No, not yet. Rains has a very distinctive voice, which apparently is due to damaging his throat during the First World War. these things can be believed on IMDb.
It's led you astray before.
It has, not least in the length of some of these films.
Again, if you ever do this again, this is my biggest grievance. Is literally, it's like, oh shit, I've got to get a new DVD in 30 seconds.
Well, when I was doing the schedule, I was really concerned because I said, part of the challenge, and it is supposed to be something difficult, that is the point, is that I said we're doing them back to back. And I was worried I was leaving too much time in between them. Like that people would say, oh no, you've given yourself a break. But yeah, I think practicality demands a slightly longer gap.
Yeah, just some nice comments coming on saying thank you for the amazing work we do. It's someone's there, it's midnight, somebody else in California. What's the favorite piece of trivia you have uncovered while doing research for any of the films we've reviewed?
Oh gosh, well, because Devil Rides Out is the one we've done most recently. I don't know if it's my favorite one, but one of the actors, Patrick Mower, one of the actors in that, told a story. He had a dressing room adjoining Leon Green, and both Green and Christopher Lee well over 6 foot. And Mower went into Green's dressing room one day and found Leon Green lining his shoes with newspaper. And Mower goes, "What are you doing?" And Leon Green said, "I'm not having that Christopher Lee taller than me." And Patrick Mower said he was pretty sure if he'd gone into Christopher Lee's dressing room, he'd have found Lee doing the same thing. "I'm not having that Leon Green taller than me."
They both end up coming out in stilts. It was.
They both. The fact is, Patrick Mower is 6 foot, and he looks like a child standing between them. They both tower over him.
What else have we got here?
So if we do this next year, then we were talking about maybe Hammer ones, and there's a question sort of like, should we do like a complete franchise? Like you could probably do all the Dracula ones, 9 films that would be, and they're slightly longer than the Universal ones. So that might be a full day. Or should we do the same as we did this year and just like cherry pick chronologically from different franchises?
That is the question.
We've got a year to think about it. But it'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll decide closer to the time.
Yeah.
But just raising it. I mean, I think this way has worked out quite well. It gives you a lot of diversity.
Yes, absolutely. And again, so we're doing this for Comic Relief in England, and so thank you to any and all who have donated. It's been super generous of you all.
We are now up to 1,300. Sorry.
Yeah, far exceeded the target. So thank you.
Yeah, we're now up to £1,383. So really chuffed with that. Thank you all so much.
So we let's just seeing how long we've got this feed for. Can anyone recommend a good source to watch Hammer films? It seems like the catalogue is really fragmented and hard to find in one place. Yeah, that's true. It seems that lots of different distribution deals happened. So lots of different studios have the rights to release them. So it's not like you can't go out and buy a Dracula box set of all 9 Dracula films or all of the Frankenstein films. I don't know that that's really been solved.
No. They would. I mean, the different distributors would have to talk to each other and come to some sort of equitable arrangement, and I don't really see them doing that. They make more money this way, frankly.
Yeah, Satanic Rites of Dracula seems to somehow have fallen into public domain according to sources, but I don't quite understand how that's happened.
No, that's odd. But yeah, we've got that on one of the box sets that we bought of just like crappy old films to review. So don't know what the deal with that one is.
Yeah, definitely not your imagination. It is just a very weird case with all of the Hammer films. I mean, there's a couple of box sets out there, but it's properly random. So even when we were trying to get together all of the Frankensteins and Draculas, you end up buying one box set here, one box set here, and then you're missing a video, missing one of them from somewhere else. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. If anything, the box sets will maybe be sort of vaguely films from the same era because that's the company that they'd have had a distribution deal with at that point. So you might get a couple of consecutive Draculas, but you won't get all of them, not as it stands. And that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. It's okay. Just no questions coming in at the moment. So yeah, pop a question in if you've got one. Have you seen the relatively newly found footage of Phantom 25 with the ballet sequence in color?
Yes, I think I have. I think that I've got that on DVD. Now I'm wondering, did we have color ballet? I mean, there's certainly the Mask of the Red Death, the masked ball sequences in color in the version that we used.
Yeah, that feeling.
I think the ballet was in color as well.
Yes, at least some of it. There's a lot of reds and greens.
Yeah, well, it's two strips. So.
Yeah. Have we rewatched any films after doing bad movie reviews on them? And would you?
No.
Possibly. We've done, if they came up in some other video, it's quite possible. So we looked back at some Bela Lugosi ones when we were doing the Bela Lugosi documentary. But yeah, there's already like so many films to get through. It's sort of going back to watch the bad ones. There seems to be time when there's so many bad ones we've still got to watch for the first time. Yeah.
So there's so many movies out there to watch. Why waste your time with watching the bad ones? Sort of thinking there's an awful lot of talk about Justice League at the moment. I'm just thinking, I don't know if I can be bothered to have an opinion. I can't imagine I'll like it. And it's 4 hours long. I could watch like 2.5 good movies in that time. Or movies I like.
What is your rainy day vampire movie?
Rainy day vampire movie.
On the rainy day thing, like again, you picked like it was a really nice sunny day today, and stuck inside, curtains drawn.
Well, I'm sorry. That you'll have to blame Lenny Henry for that. I mean, this is Comic Relief Day. It's not like I picked the day. Should also be said because it's the I think today now today, the Saturday is the first day of like meteorological one of the springs. It's first day of spring by some calculation. The spring equinox. So I think it is. This is probably one of the longer days we could have done it on.
Somebody's confirming that they bought the Christopher Lee box set in Spain and it featured Dracula 1, 4, 5, and 8.
Oh, perfect. So. Thank God they don't really follow on that closely.
What review we got coming up this week?
Godzilla versus Megalon.
The Jaguar. Or Jaguar.
Yeah. And of course, a new review has gone out while we have been doing this. Our review of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors for Dark Corner Streaming.
That's actually for a streaming review. I can confirm that's doing good numbers.
It's got Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Donald Sutherland. It's a known title. We tried to do new films, but people don't like them so much.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the first Godzilla one we've done in a while. So it's quite a while actually. I think we just kept getting pushed back and back.
Yeah, well, we did the Frankenstein one instead. Frankenstein Conquers the World. We did instead. Sort of looking for a kaiju. I don't think it was that long ago that we did Ghidorah, was it?
Oh no, Ghidorah was ages ago. That feels like.
Was it really?
Yeah. So it says, tell me you're kind to Godzilla v Megalon. Yeah, I think we're.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that it is funny, and I can't really defend it, but I find it quite entertaining.
Colleen has asked, what's this about 52 weeks of Hitchcock?
It's a series that we're doing for our Patreon supporters, or that I'm principally doing. And basically, I'm just watching a Hitchcock film every week and doing a video like this, really, just straight to my laptop camera, talking for about 20 minutes about each of them. So it's very, very unsophisticated. But yeah, that's what it is. Run. I'm going to work my way through all of them. Although this week I might be putting out 2 next week rather than 1 this week, because I was going to watch 1 today, and that's obviously not such a great idea. So I've slipped up for the first time, but yeah, that's what it's about.
I misunderstood Colleen's question. I thought she was just putting out a question there to promote Patreon, but she was actually wondering where this week's episode is.
Oh, well.
Now you've got your answer. Do you know what it is?
It got delayed.
Do you know what
it is? Stage fright.
Okay.
But yeah, so there'll probably be 2 next. I'll probably release 1 next Friday and 1 next Saturday. And I apologize. I should have got ahead of the game, but
shame on you. Do you generally prefer James Stewart or Cary Grant in your Hitchcock movies?
Oh, I don't think. I mean, to be honest, I think they're right for the films which they're in for the most part. I don't think that Cary Grant would be as convincing in something like Vertigo, or James Stewart in something like North by Northwest. I'm sure they both manage. They're both really, really good actors, but I think they're right for where they are. It's a very hedging answer to that question.
So in other news, it looks like soon we will be back in the studio for a batch of episodes. So
yeah, touch wood.
No more grainy phone footage and stuff. So that's exciting, and I think
indeed
to work in the same place again.
It does make it a lot easier.
It was like November was the last time we filmed. Was it even very?
It may have been October. It was around that. I think it wasn't December. No, it was because it was. I think I was coming home from my brother's birthday or something.
Right.
Oh no, you're right. We got one in just before lockdown. No, you're right. It would have been. Would it have been end of November then?
Yeah, so we were going to come in and do end of December, and then we got locked
down,
which went on forever. This is the last one.
That is the plan. Well, seems to be going reasonably well.
Says next marathon, why not all 22 Lee collaborations? I would have guessed there would have been more.
What, Lee Cushing ones?
Yeah.
Right. That would probably be more than 24 hours. Although, based on that, I think we could probably do without the live streams.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good idea.
Did you ever listen to any of Christopher Lee's heavy metal band, Charlemagne?
No.
When Christopher Lee died, we did have a clip of
it. I've seen clips of it, but yeah, I don't seek it out, as it were. I'd rather hear him sing opera, actually, just because see what he's like at that.
Yes, it's an interesting question. With your massive knowledge of silent film era, have you ever considered writing a monster novel set in a film studio during that era?
Not a monster one, but I'm currently vaguely working on notes for a novel that starts in the silent era. It sort of bridges over into the early 40s, but it starts in the silent era. So yeah, I'd like to write something set in that era, but not for Universal Library. I haven't written anything, which isn't to say I won't.
Is this a a redrafting of your script that was set in that time?
No, but I've appropriated some of the characters from it. It's sort of set in the same fictional studio, the same studio boss and that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a more serious novel than I usually write, so taking a bit of time over it. But
do you think there are any modern movies that capture Universal's monster movie atmosphere?
Maybe The Shape of Water. I mean, that's sort of like a modern take, but obviously, but it still has a lot of that ethos and certainly the atmosphere, I think. Some of Tim Burton's stuff, less so recently, but I'm trying to think of the name now. The Frankenstein one he did, or Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
That obviously is meant to have that, but still.
Do you find it disappointing that although Cushing and Lee were in many films together, they actually had very limited scenes together?
I don't know. I think it's more about the quality of the scenes. If they were on screen constantly, I mean, it would be nice to see a film when they're sort of like buddy cops or something. I suppose that'd be nice, or just knocking, bantering between the two of them. But I don't think you'd replace like the moments in something like Dracula when they do come together. Those moments have such power, and I think they'd have less power if they were on screen the whole time. So even sorry.
That's right. Answering Simon's question, is there going to be a highlights video of what you've done today? No, because it's mainly basically been us sitting on our couches tweeting. It wouldn't be that entertaining, which is why we didn't do it all as one big live stream, and also we didn't have the rights to show the films. But we did do one with Patreon. We did do Son of Frankenstein with Patreon. And that seemed to work, and that might be something that we might do again sometime, like do sort of like a watch party. I'm new to the channel. What do you guys think of The Black Cat 1934?
Oh, well, I like it very much. It's a great film. We watched it. Yeah, it seems like just yesterday. Yeah, it was about 12 hours ago. Exactly 12 hours ago, we started watching The Black Cat. Back when we still had enthusiasm. But yeah, I think it's a great film.
How about for the next marathon, all 52 El Santo movies?
Yeah, I think it might take longer than 24
That's from W. That is very. He's also up very late. He's English based, I believe.
I feel like it makes us look less impressive if other people are doing it.
Maybe so. But we haven't done any El Santo movies, which does seem to be some.
We should at least review one. Yeah, 52. I think we'd need to be up for 48 hours to even get close. I don't think that's a good idea.
What else have we got going on here? Of the final 3 films we've got left, what are you looking forward to most, least?
I'm really looking forward to The Phantom of the Opera, just because I'm really struggling to remember it. I was certain I'd seen it, and now I'm starting to wonder if I actually have. If I'm thinking of the Hammer one, so it's been, at the very least, it's been a long time since I've seen it. So that's the one I'm looking forward to most because I know the least about it. Of the other two, I mean, I'm perfectly happy watching Son of Dracula and Creature from the Black Lagoon, but they're comparable, I think, in both solid examples of what they are, but not exceptional.
Disappointed I didn't sort out my 3D glasses for Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh, it's a missed opportunity.
The 3D in it is very good. It's not over the top. It's a sort of good depth. And there's a nice bit with the claw where it's right out at the camera. Looks very good.
It's a nicely shot film anyway. It's just a, good example of what it is. I mean, obviously, we review a lot of monster films of that type, and Creature from the Black Lagoon is just, again, it's like what we've said before. It is that you get these films that are basically good B movies. They have this B movie subject matter, but they're done properly.
Okay, so Walter's saying Invisible Man was his second favorite Universal monster film. Bride of Frankenstein was his favorite. What are your top three?
I mean, I'd probably go with those two in number 1 and 2, and maybe Frankenstein third, which isn't very. I really love James Whale's films.
What else we got here? Why couldn't a Frankenstein started with a little monster? I think that's just referring to something else. But yeah, as we said, James Whale really is like a master of mixing the comedy and the horror, and you kind of see the other filmmakers seeing that it works and not getting why it works, and sort of missing the mark quite a bit.
Yeah, it is interesting. You wonder how much Wales casts of English eccentrics then lead to some of those other films inflicting their terrible English stereotypes on us. What was the one with the Cockneys that you picked out?
No, it wasn't. It was that there weren't any English accents going on at all. Which one was it?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean,
I'll try and think.
What would it be?
But it was the flower girl in Dracula. I've got no idea. It wasn't even close to being an accent of recognizable origin.
It's Werewolf of London.
That was it.
Werewolf of London.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if they've got these terrible English characters in there because they've seen James Whale be very successful with English eccentrics, and they're trying to ape that and failing because they haven't got any actual English actors.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a few. It's the like somebody said here, the cop in Invisible Man, but also in Dracula, the warden, the hospital warden, who's just like just camping it up something rotten, and they just feel like they're from different movies.
Yeah, very much so. That is the thing, that when the comic relief comes into those films, you really notice there isn't a comic relief in the James Whale films. They are funny films.
Got any more questions here?
We've got a little time.
Yeah, we've got about 5 more minutes. And then I think
about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we can get our shits together for Phantom of the Opera. I'm curious to know how much music is in it. How much opera is there? Are you trying to look like Shakespeare? Somebody asks.
Me? No.
It wasn't going to be me, was it? I got a Shakespeare span, maybe.
No, just lazy, basically.
Of the United States, I'd like to personally apologize for Keanu Reeves in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
There's a lot wrong with that film.
What else we got here? Not very much. Cool. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go off and watch our next movie. We'll be back. Yep. Just you can really see how we've degraded at 8:35 in the UK, which I think is about midnight or maybe 11:30 in California, because I think you're 7 hours difference now as opposed to 8 like you normally are.
And that'll just be a quick one to draw a line under it. and I'll be able to talk at a normal volume by then.
Absolutely. Cool. So good night. Thanks again for all your support, guys. And yes, we'll chat to you soon.